can't not acknowledge Easter just because we know that metaphysically it means things, that it's a pagan ritual, yes, and that it started with other forms of new life and recognizing that spring is here and let us enjoy the new life that is upon us. And it's not mistaken that they took Jesus's crucifixion and they kind of moved it up to the place where, ooh, let's coincide it with the pagan ritual of new beginnings and we'll have like new life and resurrection. And it fits because, of course, it fits. This is what we were here for. This is what we wanted. Because when it was getting darker and darker and becoming winter, we were like, let's light a lot of candles and let's remind ourselves that this is just the dark period and the light will return. And now we're like, ah, the light has returned. Yes, let's roll away the stone that had us thinking that the darkness was forever and let's resurrect. So I would be practicing malpractice if I did not give you the symbols. What do these different celebrations, ritualistic celebrations, which I'm here for it, if we can bring our current mindset into the moment of the ritual, then the ritual is not empty, it's a grounding experience. It becomes empty when you're just doing it absent-mindedly and lighting the candle, saying however many iterations of whatever prayer you were told to do. It's when it becomes mindless, that's when it becomes not so great. But we're talking about reminding ourselves, remembering, which means like redoing the membership that we have on this planet as one of the divine, as one of the members of the divine body. Hello. That's what we're doing when we remember. These rituals are fantastic. And let's talk about that stone real quick. So think about it. Think about the stone as any congealed, hardened, calloused over experience that you think is never going to change. It's like that. It's a family curse when asked, why is it that you guys move twice a year? It's a family curse. We can't find a place to stay. None of us can. That's a stone that needs to be just gone ahead and rolled away. We're talking about neuroplasticity and unlearning those things that we thought were just static truths about ourselves. What if it's not? What if that is a component of beliefs that you've gathered and you've held on to for whatever reason before you were even able to consciously choose? It sort of chose you because of the family you were born into. And now you just take it on without examining it. We say, pull up that weed or pull up that plant. Let's look at it. Is that idea of you choking out all the other positive things you want to experience? And why are we holding on to it? Let it go. Break into song, Tamara. Let it go. Let it go. Tamara is doing a Frozen play at her school, elementary school, or middle school. You know, to me, I'm a mom, so to me, it's all school. She's doing an amazing thing this week. So shout out to Tamara and those kids. But when we talk about let it go, we are saying release the old ways of believing, the old ways of acting. If it's not serving you right now, break into song. Let it go. Now, I know it's not that easy, but we didn't say it was gonna be easy because here's the thing. There is this tomb of ingrained patterns that we are experiencing whether we know it or not. And when we find that we're in some sort of prison of our own making, then we want to emphasize the word of our own making, de-emphasize the word prison, and emphasize of our own making. And what you have is the way out. The way through is how you get it, to get out of that. So you roll it away. What does that mean? You've got to have deep awareness of the present moment. This is why I love Tamara's meditation, because she was saying, well, as you breathe in and out, you're connecting to life itself right now. You can't store up breaths for the future like a squirrel does with nuts. It doesn't work like that. You can't pay back breaths that you forgot to take back when you were anxious about something. No, breath is about the only thing, besides your circulation of the actual fluids in your body, that has to happen in every moment, or else you're not considered alive. I grant you that you can hold your breath, and some of us are very good at it, but no one can hold their breath more than 6 minutes without messing up their brain. Your brain needs oxygen. You get oxygen from breathing. It's a beautiful system if you were to look at it. So the idea of trying to store up some breaths for the future or pay back some breaths because you're in arrears, it's insane. And so is your power. The idea that your power can be wielded in the past or in the future is wild to me. You can't. You only have as much power, which means connection to your divine self, the truth self, the true you. You only have that connection in the present moment. And you have to keep looking back to that, keep reconnecting with that every moment because you can't. It's like your breath. You can only do it right now. So don't take my word for it. Let me read a passage from Mark Nepo, the book, The Endless Practice, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be. And then I'll address the bunny and the eggs that are clearly not. How did the bunny get those eggs? I just have questions. We'll get there. Walk with me through this reading from Mark Nepo, The Endless Practice. All right, he says, the point of experience is not to escape, but to live it. Each of us carries some wisdom waiting to be discovered at the center of our experience. And everything we meet, if faced and held, reveals a part of that wisdom. We have a language of truth growing in our heart that only living can decode. Truth is a seed hidden in the days until watered by our experience. In Greek, ginosko means to come to know, the recognition of truth by experience. As impatient as we are, he says, this recognition can only happen through time. Like it or not, time slowly exposes the story of our lives, with friction wearing away the film that covers our eyes and the calluses that guard our heart, till we can apprehend the wonder waiting just under the skin of everything. Again, from Mark Nepo, The Endless Practice, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be, and that's page 36. And he goes on throughout the book to talk about many different ways of unfolding the true you. This is the theory of the seed has the oak tree inside of it. The seed, the acorn, has a whole oak tree, all of the instructions on how to be an oak tree inside that little seed or acorn. And the idea that all you really need to be who you really are is to get in the right circumstances and nourish yourself with the right practices so that you could be the best you that you can be. It's not like you need to add anything outside of you. You already have what it takes. Now it has to do with sitting still and knowing that, and then allowing yourself the circumstances to let those come out. So we let that seed flourish. Now, here's the problem. Seeds tend to flourish in the wet soil. It's dark in there, absent of light, but sometimes you need that darkness. Now, when it comes to the darkness, we just talked about how we've gone through winter, and winter was kind of long. It was the longest days, longest nights. It was a lot of darkness. And we would look for little points of light to bring us into some hope. And that's what that Easter bunny is all about. So this Easter bunny, the pagan ritual of there's a bunny, there's a rabbit. The rabbit represents creation, multiplication at a prolific rate, because apparently bunnies multiply very quickly. And so that is the nature of our lives. It is abundant. This little bunny represents that. But then where did he get those eggs? I mean, I guess we have to ask the bunny. But the eggs themselves represent possibility. The egg represents fertile ideas, opportunities. It's a whole chicken, perhaps, if it's a fertilized egg. I know there's some science in there that we have to discuss, but if these eggs were fertilized, then the right environment would make that egg into you got it, a little chick, which then becomes a chicken, which then begets more eggs. It's a whole life replenishing itself with more of itself kind of story. And what a perfect time to have that story than now at springtime, where you do have new beginnings, where you do have the ability to change your thinking and then change your life. Now, I know it's a quip that we use here at the at Science of Mind teachings, but if we think about resilience in a challenging environment, like any of us might have had to go through, maybe you're going through one now. Maybe you're finding your resilient nature in an environment that would seek to not have you thrive, whether that's on purpose or just something that you woke up in because systemically you're oppressed. That may be true, but we have to think about how that planting of a seed or the bunny, leaving some eggs, it's an idea of this is not all there is. What you see is not a sum total of all that can be. In fact, what we are learning in science of mind and in neuroplasticity and in any intentional practice is that you see it first internally before it appears into the world. It's the vision of what you would like to have happen that gives you a renewed purpose, which gives you hope in the face of things in front of you that seem impossible, gives you courage because you're also afraid, and it allows you to walk toward that thing because you're being called to a higher vision. That is what's unfolding every single day. And that's pretty powerful. Now, you might also be similar to the lotus plant. On our new website, we have a picture of a lotus plant unfolding. If you go to csleesburg.org, you'll see our new site. And the video, there's a big, tall video on the beginning of the page. It's just a lotus plant blossoming. And the thing about the lotus is that it's planted in mud. It does not grow unless it's in some really fertile mud. But the thing about the lotus is that it doesn't live. Its blossoms are not in the mud, but its root is in the mud. Think about your life. Think about how deep down inside you might have overcome some things that many people might call muddy situations. Or it's a bit dirty, it's a bit ick, right? Maybe even now, if you were to show everybody the underbelly, they'd be like, "Ooh, girl, you okay?" Yeah, I know. But we don't show up like that in life. We don't blossom down in the mud. But guess what we get from that? We sit in it. We sit right in it. And we listen to what is trying to emerge through us. Because if you've been listening to these talks between me and Reverend Melinda and Tamara, we've been talking about things happen, but are they happening to you? Or are they happening for you? If you choose the latter for you, then you're moving out of that victim react state of panic into a spiritual being who's having a human experience. And sometimes they're a little more human than other times. And in this moment, there's a lesson. There's something to sit through and feel through, nothing to run from. Because if we stay rooted right where we are, we might get some nourishment, some lessons, and some growth from that moment that seems icky. And then when we watch that lotus unfold, well, those beautiful flowers have risen above the soil and the dirt and the mud. They've got a bit of an undercoating. It looks like little lily pads, but looks more like a hemp cloth. It's just the way that it's held. And then above that is all of the beautiful flowering that happens. And it's sitting right there in the mud. That is what we're talking about getting to. But if you just go with pop culture, and pop culture loves to skim across the surface, you only have 30 seconds or maybe a whole minute to absorb any of these short videos, and then we're on to the next one. The attention these days, it jumps around so much that we're not really being taught to go within and go deep. Well, that's not exciting. Go within and go deep. Yikes. I'm just going to sit there. Will there be anything to do? Is that just me? I'm like, I need to do something. Fine. I actually found meditations from Dr. Joe Dispenza and other teachers and even Tai Chi yoga. There are ways to go deep while also doing something. If you've got a little mind that just needs to latch onto something, okay, here's something. Breath, breathe in, breathe out. Oh, is that boring? Breathe in and imagine that at the coil of your sacrum, your chakra, the one right there, the chakra right where you sit, imagine that's a coiled up amount of energy like a spring, and it's sitting there, and as you breathe in you activate it, and then so the way Dr. Joe Dispenza has us squeeze our core and just pull up that Kundalini energy, pull it straight up and have it come to your third eye and then boop out of your crown chakra. That's something to do. I love it. I'm like, great, because a whole hour goes by as we're working with the different energy centers and feeling and expanding and doing. We have things to help you go deep, because what we don't want to do is just let our lives be totally controlled by what things look like. Like that's the truth. Hello. And then finding out that what they look like is not really what we thought it would feel like. What it looks like and what it feels like, two different things. So then we go to the next thing and, oh, I want what that looks like. No, we're going to be flitting around from flower to flower without really going deep. What we do in this teaching is the practice of mindfulness. And the practice, we have like three that apply to this talk here. There's mindfulness, which is being in the present moment with everything you're doing. There's meditation, which is what I just talked about, breathing deep, going in, and whatever guided meditation that keeps you practicing, that's the right one for you. And there is no right answer for everybody, although breath is typically part of it. And the third one is that spiritual mind treatment, that practice where you are saying, I know I am one with the divine. In fact, there's one thing, the most commonly quoted, most commonly quoted mantra in Centers for Spiritual Living is this one. Listen, there is only one life. This life is God. This life is perfect life. This is my life now. That is the thing. When you're doing spiritual mind treatment, you are actually saying the truth about all of reality. There's only one life. What's behind that one life? God, or say the universe, the divine, infinite possibilities. If you don't like the word God, replace as necessary. This life is perfect. Perfect life. Now you're saying, well, the divine is perfect in and of itself, and you cannot leave out that last part because that's where the magic happens. This life is my life right now. Notice that we didn't say this life is my life in 2 weeks. This life is my life because it's part of my 5-year goal. Nope. This life is my life now. That spiritual mind treatment, that it's a lot more involved than that, but if you set the stage with the most commonly used mantra of science of mind, you will be knowing that you are in alignment with the divine. And now your next question is, what can't I have? What would I like to experience? Now, here's where you take it from, here's what it's going to look like, to here's what it's going to feel like. Because if we can vibrate at the feeling of the thing that we want, we might find what I find with myself a lot of the times, when I start focusing on how I want to feel, I realize, oh, I can feel that right now. I don't have to wait for that situation. A lot of times I'll go into prayer, and this is true for all of us. I want a red Corvette. It's a really great example. Great, you want a red Corvette. How are you going to feel when you get the Corvette? Because if you do not ask yourself that question, you might find yourself collecting a lot of toys, but still seeking a feeling that is just evasive. You can't get to, because if you continue the question, what's it going to feel like? And you say, well, I'm going to have wind in my hair. I'm going to feel free because it's a convertible, and then I'm going to be happy because there's music playing and I've got my friends with me, and then the dog is in the car and we're all just happy. You realize, oh, well, is that limited to just that Barbie car, the Corvette that she has? Is it limited to that type of car? No. In fact, I will grant you, you could have that feeling in 2 minutes if you have a car now, or you can order a Lyft and tell them I'm bringing my dog. Can we roll down the window and sing a song? You could have it. If that's what you want to feel, you could have it. And so we start living our life fully now, not waiting for the perfect external circumstances to show up, because that's how they get you. Social media will get you. All you need is a private plane and big eyelashes and, I don't know, a snatched waist. What are we doing? What's really popular right now? Those are the ingredients, and then you'll be happy. Oh, no, 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 no. So when you go into prayer, sure, pray for the private jet, pray, but make sure that you're doing it from a feeling of, I want to feel, and don't just say happy. Get into, what is happiness? How does it vibrate? Tell me, because the divine, it's already given you that, and you're just trying to get your prayer to move you from what you think is not you moving you. Prayer moves you from what you think is not happening for you right now to an awareness that, oh, it is happening right now, because there's only one life. I'm living the life of God. That life is perfect. That life's my life right now. Whoa, I didn't even realize that I already had these things. But I'm not saying you won't get what you want. I'm just saying you will get to that feeling faster if you do not limit that feeling to come from a particular channel, whether it's a car or a person or a house or whatever circumstance, that then you'll be begging to get it. God, please take away this thing because it's vexing me. Trust me. When you want the thing, look for the feeling underneath the thing and sit. Sit. It's this endless practice of becoming who you were born to be. That is what we're doing every day, every week, especially during this whole month. This is the practice of becoming, and this is living every day with a deep awareness that you probably already have it if you look around. And if you don't, look around with gratitude, because that gratitude will bring that external experience that you're trying to feel. It'll bring it even that much faster. So yes, happy Easter. Yes, there's a bunny with eggs and possible painting eggs, which I guess creativity. And just know that that truth has been this way for eons. Before the rituals happened, there is the divine. All right, that's all I have to say about that. Let's go within. Let me check the comments. Just know that if you would like extra prayer, we're here. We can do a breakout room and have you in a one-to-one spiritual mind treatment. But here's a spiritual mind treatment for the whole community as we go within. There's one power, one life, one energy, and that is the divine. Whether we call it Mother, Father, God, or the universe, or life itself, or field of possibilities, whatever it is that you think of it as. We know that it goes beyond some white male in the sky who grants and takes away wishes. No, 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 no. The underlying presence, the creator of all that is, that is what we are. We each are part. We are an emanation. We are that. That life is our life right now. We are unified with it. We couldn't be separate from it if we tried. So if this is true, and it is, then we know that my life is the life of the divine. Therefore, when I speak my word for what it is I want to experience, that is the highest peace and the highest joy that one body can experience. I know that this is already available to me. I speak my word for every member of our community that anything that their heart desires, any rough patches that they're going through, is just more mud for the joy of that flower that is unfolding. I get to hold the heart of this community in prayer every day. I'm so grateful to be imbued with all of the gifts that we share together, all of the joy. We hold space for the sorrow or whatever is happening because I know that this community, as it is so beautifully growing, that it is exactly what the divine expresses as itself, as us, individually and as a group. So I speak my word into this law that all is unfolding perfectly. And we take each step knowing that the next step will be revealed as long as we move with that faith and that knowing that all is well. So I release my word with gratitude and appreciation and excitement. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. As I release my word into the law, I just let it go. I let it be, and I know that it is already done. And I say, and so it is. Ashe.